Good morning. I don't know whether this stream is working or not. If it is or if it's not, leave me a message. I'll keep an eye open. There is a YouTube error popping up right now saying not enough video to maintain smooth streaming. And I did notice that my Garmin watch said there was network issues, so maybe it's related. But anyway, I'll crack on. Hopefully the streaming seems to be okay. But any problems, just give me a message. Okay, today is the 8th of the 1st, 2025, and I'm going to go through my levels for today. Before we start, let's look to see what could potentially move the market. We did have news, 8:15 wasn't it? ADP employment, and then we had Fed speaking and jobless claims at 8:30. And we saw a bit of a, what was the reaction to that? Not much. Nothing really happened really. News later on today, oil at 10:30, and we've got 30-year bond auction at 1, so keep an eye on that. But the big one, FOMC minutes. I don't trade FOMC at all, but keep an eye on that today. That's at 2 o'clock, and I think that's pretty much most of it for today. Okay, so let's start off with the ES. Let's remove. And we're looking at the 1 hour time frame, and I did draw a few levels on. Let's just go. So basically we had a big sell-off yesterday. I didn't trade yesterday. I was out just after the market opened for the dentist, and there was a perfect break and retest of pre-market low, which I hope somebody took, because that's what we talk about every day in this video. Pre-market low I think was here, and look at that, it broke down, came back up into it. You either could have taken it there or even on the pullback, and it sold right off. So that would have been a great trade. Hopefully someone took that. Today's levels pretty much similar. We can see now, let's just draw our line in. We had a bit of a trend break here, and then we broke the trend, and now we've broken this hourly uptrend as well. So we broke it here, and then we broke it here yesterday's sell off. So what I'm looking for really is, I do quite like the rejection around here. This was yesterday's bounce area we was watching for, and again that area could have got a scalp on that bounce. Look at that. In fact, I did say keep an eye on that area. Came down, and then within the hour came all the way back up again. And look at that, and that level as well was a rejection point as well. We broke through, came back, retested it. So levels were spot on yesterday. So let's just keep an eye on this again. I do quite like 59.80. We're below 6,000 now. That's why we had that level marked up. 6,000 psychological number. You can see we broke through it yesterday, came back and retested it. Lost it. We can watch it again for a rejection if we get back up there again. But what I really quite like, even though we're putting in a bit of a downtrend right now, I do quite like the rejection back up in this area of confidence. Notice the volume. We have the point of control running through that area. Bottoms are pivots, bottoms are pivots, tops of all these pivots. We held that level when we broke through it again there. Came back in yesterday, bounced from that area. Then we lost it again. We came back and retested it today in the pre-market, and we sold off. So the pre-market has been pretty active. It's put in a big range. This is our pre-market range, and then yesterday's pre-market range was, I think it was about there, so it's a lot smaller. Where was it? Around about there. So what I'm looking for, there's two plays in this area. We're either going to come back up into that area, we're going to hold it and then lose it again. So let's watch for a rejection, point of control, area of confidence, and it's an area we've been watching as well. If we break through it, I quite like the break and retest of pre-market high, and that's the two plays I'm watching there. If we see good buying pressure and we push back up into this yesterday's high area, I do quite like this region here, 60.45 to 60.30 for a rejection. So keep an eye on that. Last time we came up to that area, we had this big reaction to it, so we may get another reaction there. And then bounces, No, hang on, there's still another short we can watch for. And this area here I do quite like as well, exactly where the pre-market low is. So if we break down, come back up and retest that area, 59.26, 59.30 area, I'm looking for a rejection as well. So break and retest short of pre-market low and yesterday's low, that zone we can watch for. And I think that's pretty much it. And then if we were to find a bounce, the only bounce area I like, let's just mark it in there, it's around about this 58.83 up to 5900, this region here. So I'm going to mark it here where there's the most touches of candles and bodies. If we go back a bit, if we've got anything we can use. Okay, well it was an area here. Was the ceiling, then became the floor, retested it, and then we bounced a couple of times there. So let's keep an eye on 58.80 area for a bounce. And again, when I'm looking for areas, I'm not looking for a line, I'm looking for a zone when I'm looking for a bounce. So you've got to have a decent confirmation and entry to get into them. And again, if these plays don't set up, I'm not looking for anything else. So I'm looking for a break and retest of pre-market high, or I'm looking for a rejection at that area. I'm looking for a break and retest of pre-market low. May consider it for a bounce because of this area here. So potential bounce, and then I'm watching for a bounce down here at 58.90, and then I'm looking for a rejection up in this region. So these are the areas I'm watching basically. 1, 2, 3, 4 areas. And I think that's it really for the ES SPY. Here we go, exactly the same levels, I won't mark them up. So looking for this yesterday's high, rejection at 597, 596. Break retest a pre-market high long, pre-market low short, and then we can watch potentially round here for the bounce. I think that's it. SPX levels, pretty much the same, nothing's changed. Is interesting thing here, so yesterday, what day is today, the 8th. So here we came in, look at that, we came up, retested that level, came back down, retested that level, bounced, broke through, we bounced, we held that level in the near the end of yesterday's play, and that's where we closed. So these levels are decent levels of in play as well, and we should be around about, did we sell off? Yeah, we sold off a little bit. Where are we? So we keep an eye on 58.70 for potential bounce area, and then we've got, oh, that's a big area. Okay, I won't need that. And then we can keep an eye on this region down here and this region down here for a bounce, 58.28. And obviously, big psychological number, 5800. Watching this area here, and we've also got the 6,000 region to keep an eye on as well, which happens to be a level we were watching as well yesterday. Let's go on to NQ. Again, I only use SPX. I don't trade SPX, but I use it as confirmation. So if I'm looking for a long on ES and SPX is coming into a bounce area, well, that's one extra confirmation to get into that trade. Okay, so NASDAQ. You can see we broke this trend, put in a bit of an hourly uptrend the last few days. Couldn't put in a new high. We broke down, came back, retested some levels we've had marked up. So let's keep an eye on this. So I do quite like the break and retest of pre-market low into this region here. There's a little bit of volume in that area as well, so keep an eye on a potential double bottom for a bounce. You know, this was potentially we were saying it could tee up to a head and shoulders pattern, it didn't quite get there. But there is a bit of volume, and you can see the volume coming in around this region here. So pre-market low, 21,221 for a bounce. But with the current trend, the hourly trend, let's go with a break and retest as well. Break and retest above pre-market high, break, retest, look for an entry, and then we've got this area here, happens to be where the point of control is as well. It's kind of flicking between the two. And I do quite like this region. Yesterday's high, 21,700, 21,720, 21,750, that area there for the rejection. QQQ. Same rejection area, this region here. We've also got the big volume shelf and a point of control, which is immediately below the areas watching. So this region can be our rejection area. Break and retest a pre-market high at 517.37 long into that area. 522 can be a target if we're looking to go long. I do quite like this area for bounce. We're kind of in that area now. We may have already bounced. So break and retest short, or we can look for this area for rejection as well, a bit like ES. Big area of confidence, there's a volume spike there as well. And so let's watch 518.50 for the rejection. And then we'll quickly go through the others. Crude oil is looking strong. Finally broken out over this trend line. See, we held it, broke through, tested it. On increased volume as well. Came back out, retested the trend line and pushed up again. So to keep with the oil trend, in an uptrend, putting in higher highs and higher lows. Look for the break and retest a pre-market high long, and we can watch for a bounce if it pulls back down to yesterday's low. Don't really want to be short in this, it's pretty strong at the moment. We could see a short up in this zone. We've got tops and bottoms of candles over here, tops of pivots, tops of this pivot. So 76 to 77 for the rejection. Treat it as a scalp because it's against trend. Gold, look at that, it's holding the trend line pretty well. So this is a trend line, goes back to June time. Sorry, that's bad drawing. So let's watch for the break and retest of pre-market high, long, and then is there a good rejection? The next volume shelf is not until we get into this area here. So 2700 psychological number, we can watch that area for rejection. And then if we pull back down onto this trend line area, we can watch for the bounce. Let's just get a closer picture of it. I might tidy up these levels and just go with major levels because it's a bit messy now as we've been adding them in, all these pivots. So the next major level long is probably this region here. We can see broke down, pulled back into that area, broke down, pulled back into that area. So 2710, 2712, let's mark it up there. That's not where I wanted it, just there. I like it because we broke out, we came back, retested it, broke out, retested it, broke down, came back up, retested it. Let's get rid of that level. And then we broke out, came back down, retested it and fell down. So just keep an eye on that up there. Let's get rid of some levels. That's a major pivot. That's a major pivot. This is not as much and up here, so it makes it a bit easier to see. And I'll start clearing out some of the other levels as well. So break and retest pre-market high looks good because we'll be retesting that pivot as well, and that pivot there, and all these pivots. And we're above the point of control as well. So I do quite like the long on this. We have to get over that. We need to get over this pivot here, over that point, and then probably like the bounce down here at 26.43 as well. And that's it really for gold. RTY, this is the Russell 2000. I'm just holding it. Bit of increased volume as well, whether we were just accumulating before we make a move in upward direction. But we are putting in, what we're seeing is coming down, push down that way. Potentially it's a bear flag, and we're either going to come down, break down, retest down, or we're going to push back up. So that's the areas to watch. Levels, all I can see is this bounce area here. 22.20 for the bounce. Keep an eye on pre-market low, break and retest for a scalp down into that area, and then break and retest a pre-market high into this area here, and I do quite like this region here for a rejection. That's 2300. So a nice psychological number, and we've held it several times previously. YM, this is the Dow Jones. Again, brilliant example of a downtrend. Sold off, came in, you know, this is the messy bit of the market sector. So we're selling off stage, going sideways stage. What we're either going to see continuation, or it's going to put in that back up, and we go through the full market cycle. You know, this could be just an area of accumulation right now, or redistribution. So we went redistributed up here, sold off, redistributing, and then we sell off. So we won't know that until we've broken out of that region. So let's keep an eye on this bottom area for a bounce. 42,500. Break and retest over pre-market high, although it's made difficult because of this point of control. So it's going to be a tough one. So let's get over this point of control, come back down and retest it for the long. And then we can keep an eye on potentially this area of confidence here, 43.40 for a rejection. So let's just add that in. That area there for the rejection. And then finally Bitcoin, it lost its 100,000. Look at that, it didn't just lose it, it plummeted. You know, here you go, you say up the staircase and then out the window or down the elevator. There's a good example. Again, this 92,000 area is a key level. Let's just go into the daily. And you're going to see what we talked about yesterday, we've been talking about for a few days. Is that the neckline? Are we looking at a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then break and retest short, potentially? So we've been talking about this. I even said this yesterday, we could be looking at a right hand shoulder forming, potentially. But I thought that this could be the right shoulder, but it could be all of this as a part of the right shoulder, just as much as we've got all of this as part of the left shoulder and the head. I know it's a matter of your own interpretation, but this is the neckline, and that's the key area. It doesn't matter about what the pattern is. We're either going to hold it and bounce, or we're going to lose it, and the next area we've got is back down here, major area, 72. But 92 is it. I'm sorry, there's 73, 70, 72, 70,000 is a key area for a bounce, but we're nowhere near that. This is our key area here, 92. So keep an eye on 92. I may look to trade Bitcoin futures on a break and retest short. I don't usually trade Bitcoin futures, something I want to get into. Otherwise, we can watch it also for a bounce. Just keep an eye on that. And that's it. Let's quickly flick over to order flow. Market opens in 10 minutes, got plenty of time. What we're seeing now is price selling off. Well, let's just get rid of that, put it on front. So putting in lower lows. That's putting in lower lows, potentially, yeah. Nothing exciting. Then we've put in a higher high and broken the previous high, but we've yet to break the previous high on the price. So this is cumulative down to the bottom. And we're not doing much really. We're literally going sideways. Don't forget the market's closed tomorrow, so maybe there might be some days off today in the market, so it might be a little bit less volume. It's closed tomorrow for the funeral of Jimmy Carter. And I think that's it. Let's go back to the main screen. And one thing to note as well, I forgot to mention about this, is back to the Bitcoin. On this big push up, we've got very obvious decline in volume as well. So we could be seeing an area of exhaustion up here, and that's why I quite like this head and shoulders pattern to play out. So look for a break and retest short with reduced volume. It's, in my opinion, I said this yesterday as well, in my opinion I think that might be a good play. But then this is not financial advice, this is only what I'm looking for. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. to get notified when I go live. I usually go live 9 AM Eastern time, maybe a few minutes late occasionally. But I will be back on Friday, not tomorrow, Friday, as the market's closed tomorrow. Okay, thank you for watching.